So we are going to commence now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Today is going to be wonderful. It promises to be insightful and interactive as well. Um, Permit me to welcome our um, facilitator for today evening. But before that, a little biography on our facilitator, who is Ransford Carey. He is an experienced career coach, talent manager, executive resume writer, and a customer success specialist with a strong focus on global remote talent acquisition. As the co-founder of Skillsight Career Consult, a leading recruitment process outsourcing firm, he helps companies scale by connecting them with top-tier professionals across various industries. With a passion for coaching and a deep understanding of interview dynamics, Ransford prepares candidates to succeed in high-stake interview with top global employers. With emojis, with thumbs up, I'd like us to welcome our amiable and amazing facilitator tonight. All right. You're welcome, sir. You can have the floor.
Thank you so much, Melville. I really hope I got your name correct. Thank you so much for that brief. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I welcome everyone officially to this session where we are coming to have a moment on the best practices on mastering virtual recruitment. I'm so excited to have every single one of you. And great thanks to Agape. I hope I also got your name correct. I'm so honored for this opportunity, and I really look forward to a very insightful moment. And yes, it's going to be very interactive. I'm not seeing the thumbs up and the reactions. However, I really hope from time to time we'll be engaging. Mr. Melville, I don't know if you're still on the line. Um,
I am.
okay, so I believe when they react, we'll be able to see it here, or we need to
Yes, we
perhaps
can be
after
able
the
to
meeting
see
you
it.
can see it. Okay. So I want to see a thumbs up from everyone. If you're excited to have this moment, because we're delving in very, very briefly and quickly. I want to see a thumbs up at least. So like he already introduced me, Mr. Ransford, and I'm really, really honored once again to be here. Without much ado, we'll quickly delve in. Let me share my screen quickly. And then let's present from here. A moment. So I believe you can see it. Is it visible? Is it clear? Can you all see?
Yeah, we can see. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much once again. So today we'll be delving into the context or the subject or the topic of virtual recruitment best practices. I mean, we are even looking at it from the context of employers. I mean, majority of us are human resource professionals or individuals here. So we are not really looking at it from the job seeker perspective. However, we're going to consider some of them. And then we are looking at mastering remote interviewing and selection. So one thing I'd like to tell everyone before we even delve into it is remember that the world is gradually transitioning. If you don't take anything from me today, at least remember this statement: the world is evolving and transitioning into the virtual space. So we'll do a bit of the objectives for this particular session, where we'll be looking at understanding the evolution of virtual recruitment. We are going to explore some step by step, which I call the roadmap or the blueprint for digital recruitment workflow and procedures. We're also going to take a look or a delve into some of the tools and the techniques for virtual interviewing. The traditional ways of doing things are quite gradually getting extinct. So we'll be looking at the new mode of virtual interviewing. We will also be identifying common remote hiring mistakes or challenges that most people face, and as a result of that, making it very difficult for employers or for hiring managers to have successful global talent into their team. We're also going to look at some measures to improve candidate experience virtually, and this is somewhere that I'll spend some time on because it's very, very key and very, very crucial for us as HR professionals and managers. We're also going to take some assignments and personal growth opportunities. So it's actually a value packed session that we're going to have. I look forward to a wonderful moment. So quickly, let's delve into it. Virtual recruitment then versus now. Somewhere 2020, the entire country or the entire world, let me put it that way, faced a challenge of a pandemic. And as a result of that, most people some were laid off, some were not working. In fact, majority of the people were just locked down. And as a result of that, if you were focused on the traditional way of doing things, especially with working mode of operations, it came to a halt. So pre-pandemic, there was face-to-face hiring where you have to dress officially, physical interviews. We are just looking at the appearance most often. We are looking at the individual, the setting. But after the pandemic, something happened. People now began to focus on what we call the remote space or the virtual world. So people employers, companies began to retweak or tweak their operations to focus more on remote roles, because whether or not some companies that were established in the likes of Microsoft, Amazon, Shopify, they were still in operation. That means they actually looked beyond what they were doing, even though it wasn't really as profound as it is now, but they were considering a lot of things over there. So when the pandemic came, things were still going on. And also people have started looking at tech-driven procedures and mode of operations in their line of work. Also, people have begun to have a digital first mindset. That is, whatever be the case, whatever role that you are trying to fill, you have to always consider the fact that there should be flexibility either in terms of time zone, in terms of the mode of operation, and then the fact that there is room for global hiring infusion. So we move on to the next step, which is a poll time. Poll time. This is just a moment for us to, I really wish I could see the reaction. So what platform do we currently use for our virtual interviews? That is if, first of all, we have virtual interviews embedded into our mode of operations. So if you're currently running a virtual interview system in your either organization or wherever you find yourself, I want you to just leave either Zoom, Teams, Google Meet. Just leave one of these, the platform that you are conversant with and you normally use. I want to see quick reactions over here. I want to see quick reactions. Zoom, MS Teams, Google Meet. Well, personally, I think I have one. I normally like the Zoom. It's just a personal preference, not to say that's the best among the rest. But I mean, are we getting some feedbacks? Feedback. Okay, Zoom, Google Meet. Okay. So now, is someone speaking to me, please? Or is it a distraction? Okay, sure. So we are looking at the current mode. This step is where I have termed as the roadmap. I keep things very simple. In fact, remote work or the remote world, things are simple. If you have a pen or if you have your notepad or if you have your writing material, you can note this down. Things are simple. Okay, don't try to look at it in a form of, because you're saying tech, because you have to get this, you have to get so many things in place. No, things are simple. Why? Because of the introduction of something which has already been in existence, but now more famous and recognized, that is the AI. So, number one, we all know the workflow per the traditional mode of operation, that the traditional recruitment. But when it comes to the virtual world or the remote space, I can see a lot of Nigerians on the line where you can see how they are all in the quest and in the rush for virtual assistants and all of that. Great, 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 great. But then the employers, are we also looking at, are we ready to be able to bring them on board? Because I've had the likes of I'll go back to Microsoft. I've had the likes of the privilege of working with some companies like that. And we are always looking at the structured workflow where things are so optimized that before you even get to talk to somebody, you would have gotten through a systemized procedure. And every employer should be able to do that. Like I said, it is simple. Number one, you start from the job posting or the identification of job analysis, evaluation is all done with the use of a simple tool called AI. We have the likes of ChatGPT, which is very known. Now we have Copilot, we have different, but I use ChatGPT because that's what I normally recommend. And if you're able to prompt it better, you are able to get everything so systemized for you, especially on the job descriptions. Because depending on the value of the job, that's when you know what to prompt, because they work on prompts. AI works on prompts. I know you've heard it before, but I'll reiterate it. AI works on prompts. So first off, you need to know what you're looking for and how you're going to prompt it. Another thing is when you prompt it, AI does something for you. But the next thing is the pre-screen. After you prompted and you've gotten the job description, the next thing is for you to consider this thing that you leverage some other tools. So from the start till now, the candidate has not gotten to you. Right from the job posting to the pre-screen, the candidate has not gotten to you. So what are we looking at? We are looking at leveraging candidate video response tools like the Willow. So you use ChatGPT or you use whatever AI tool you want to use to get the job description done, tailor it based on the job preference, based on the role at hand, based on the duties you are considering, based on your role, the salary or the perks at hand. Then you run your pre-screen after you've received quite a number of resumes. You run your pre-screen, which involves tweaking the ATS, depending on the type of ATS you're using. If you're using the super hybrid, if you're using the jazz, if you're whatever you are using, you have to remember that you have to tweak it. Then you leverage these tools to have, in the likes of Willow, candidates are actually able to send some video responses. So you have some questions that they can actually answer, send videos so that you can test their speech, you can test their eloquence, how they can be proactive, depending on how you tweak the question. That's solely dependent on you, the employer or the hiring manager or the HR professional in contact. Then you move to the next phase of the interviewing. Traditionally, sometime back prior to or pre-pandemic, you realize that we normally used to focus on looks, which we still do, focus on outfits, perhaps the building setting, trying to get the best place. We still focus on that, but there's something we normally we mention, but we really don't practice. That is the use of the STAR method. Generally, interviewing is best globally accepted, statistically proven that we use the behavioral now. We stop using the traditional. We use the behavioral, which involves the STAR, which is the situation, task, action, and then the results. So you, the employer, should know how you would create your checklist. You should know how you put things in order to be able to get whatever value you are looking for or whatever solution you are looking for, because once there's a job description, there's a problem. And that's why we are looking for someone to fill that role. We move on to the next one, which is assessment. After you've gotten the candidates or the shortlisted individuals to come, you now begin to assess them. All these things are not something you're gonna stress your head on. All these things are so simple. You get your AIs to do the first two. The only time perhaps you might come in is the interviewing. You can still go back to the AI generative mode with the assessment. You have the likes of Test Gorilla, you have the likes of Toggle High. Then we quickly move to the final selection, where we are looking at the candidate's possibility to infuse successfully into the team that you already have at hand. Because remember, once you are not seeing the person, does not mean the person is qualified. And there are different cultural perspective, analogy, varying for every employer or every organization. Okay, so there are some companies we had a chance. I'll give this example. We had a chance to work with an Indian firm, actually two of them, and they have a branch in the States. Though they are sourcing, we got, I think it was a Nigerian. We got a Nigerian, but culturally, that person was not ready to, work on some of the terms. So we had to let that candidate slide, even though he has ticked all the checkboxes. And also, you have to look at the team that the person is going into. If it's a sales rep, you have to make sure that your marketing head or whatever it is tries to be on that interview call so that you know that is this guy really culturally fit with what we are about to do or what we stand to achieve. Let's go to a real-time scenario where we are looking at comparison. Okay. If you are here with me, I want you to type real-time scenario just so I can know you are all following. Real-time scenario, real-time scenario, real-time scenario. Okay. Great, great, great. Real-time scenario. I want to, great, great. All right. So we have a poor job description example, and then we have an optimized job description. When we're talking about optimize, most often people think it's something so big. We're only talking about tailoring or revamping. Okay, so tweaking it to fit what you actually seek to achieve. So a poor job description that I normally see on the internet. Oh my boy, I see this on LinkedIn. I see this on Glassdoor. I'm like, bro. Well, that's why we are here. So we are looking for a dynamic. The fact that I mentioned ChatGPT does not mean you don't have to. I mean, AI is not replacing us. Let's take this. AI is not replacing us. It's just helping us. We are leveraging AI. Okay, so you are looking for a dynamic customer service individual to join the team. This individual must be good with people. Others say must be able to communicate with people, and then tech savvy. This is a real-time job description I picked. I just don't want to disclose the company, but it's a real-time job description. And hey, you will get junk. You get junk. Like I said, we are looking at it from the part of the employer because most often we see people complain. I'm a recruitment manager. I help students, perhaps I position students to get or candidates to get jobs and connect them with organization. Great. But do you really know what it takes? You as an employer, do you know what it takes? So let's look at a clear way this thing could have been optimized so that you can get very qualified. The word is qualified candidates. We are hiring a customer support associate specific on the job title with 2 years or 2+ years of experience in handling live chat, meaning we are looking for someone who will sit and then be doing active engagement. A moment. Yeah, about that. So we are looking for someone with 2 years of experience in handling live chat and CRM tools. You can mention the likes of Zendex. You have the Asana, you have the Trello. You be specific. The ideal candidate is detail-oriented, empathetic, and able to resolve queries within the SLAs. You have been specific. So we know that these are the things we work with. These are the things we are looking to, or we are seeking to achieve, because we want someone that will actively be engaging with the people or our clientele that come in. If it's a BPO, if it's a B2B, then you might mostly need this customer support individual. But don't just make it vague, because sometimes it is not the candidate or the job seeker that is wrong, because they also tailor it based on the job description. Let's not forget. They tailor their resumes based on the job description. So if you tell me tech savvy, it is very broad. If you tell me I'm looking for a customer service individual, someone who has run sales is also a customer service individual. Relationship manager is also a customer service individual. So what are you looking for? Let's be specific. So job title, number of years or qualification, you are looking for the responsibility from the start. Because sometimes people don't want to pay and go through all that trouble. So they just type it on their own. Make sure you capture everything you seek to achieve. All right, we go to another role play of interview. Like I said, this is a blueprint. I'm giving you real life scenarios, okay? Not something we are just conjuring. These are real life scenarios. So let's pick a week interview session. And I'm saying that because I've had some people engage with some employers as well, both locally, I mean, Africa, all across the Philippines. And with Africa, I'll just say this. There are some companies that barely, should I say, employ or deal with African talent, not because they don't trust in capabilities, but based on their consistency in or repetitive encounter with Africans and how they answer or they approach interviews. So they are really skeptical about that. However, I told one employer that it's actually coming from you. So let's look at this scenario. A candidate is asked, tell us about the time you had to meet a tight deadline, of which majority of us normally ask in interviews, right? So a response is like, okay, well, I usually manage deadlines, and perhaps there was a time we had a lot of work on the table, and well, I did my best. And you can easily get it from a white. You can get this simply from somebody in the States. So then let's discuss. Let's discuss. What do we think is wrong? I want you to type in the session. What do we think about this particular interview, right from the questioning to the response? I want to hear. I want to see you share your thoughts in the chat. What do you think as well? Let's discuss. I mean, at least one or two comments, and then we move on to the next slide. What do you think is wrong with this particular one? So tell us about the time you had to meet a tight deadline. And then the candidate responds, well, I usually manage to meet deadlines. There was a time we had a lot of work, but I just did my best. Really, is it wrong to say that? Okay, so perhaps let me ask this question. Is it wrong to answer this way? Engagement. Is it wrong to answer this way? Okay, the question was not specific. Alberto said, a generalist. So was the answer. Wow, absolute. Any other one? Okay. You can see someone typing. So let's move to the next one. So what I would deduce from this particular thing or this particular question that happened prior, which is this, you realize that some things were missing. And like Oyin just said, he said the question was not specific, or better said, it was general. It is generalist. So was the answer. Yeah. There was no clear example, especially in the response, no structure. So the question and the answer actually came based on what? The formula or the format. It was vague language, so vague response, no clear example, and then there was no structure. Like he said rightly, it is generalist. It's more like open. But you can fail this person for that. Majority of us might actually fail this individual for that, because it looks like he just gave us something out of the blue, something not so convincing. But the question was actually not straightforward. All right. So then, with this analogy, or with this said, with this understood, or with this seen, you realize that we have to look at it from the start that majority of us keep mentioning. I see this a lot of time. Ghana, South Africa, most often star, 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 star. But I go and check their, especially like I said, we are all employers now, so or we are all professionals in the same space that we are. If you're a professional, you are seeking to upgrade to become perhaps a consultant or become an executive sometimes. So the star we keep mentioning, let's bring it in real life scenario. So tell us about the time you dealt with a difficult colleague remotely because you are not seeing the individual. And before I came on board, I was sharing with a friend that think of it that some companies like Amazon, they have how many employees across board in terms of the world, okay? And or Nike, and they are still engaging perfectly. They still know the status of every subsidiary and whatever is going on over there. That means they can actually work remotely. Their Slack community is actively engaged. So then, if you are looking at the STAR method, we are looking at it remotely. Tell us about the time you dealt with a difficult colleague remotely, because the fact that it's remote doesn't mean everything is going to be smooth. So let's see a very strong answer, very typical one we might be looking at. Situation. This client or this candidate, sorry, can actually come in this context of, at my previous role, I worked with a remote teammate who constantly missed meetings. So you reiterate the question or the situation on board. Okay, so you are being asked, tell me a time you dealt with a difficult colleague remotely. And you, as an employer, your checklist should be looking at my previous role, because we are using behavioral interviewing system, of which I told you a star consists of it. So you realize that we are looking at your past to predict your future productivity and somewhat proactivity. So at my previous role, I worked with a remote teammate who constantly missed meetings. T, that is the task. He said, my task was to ensure we met our project deadline despite the communication gap or barrier. Like I said, the fact that it's remote does not mean things are going to go smooth. There will be some challenges somewhere, somehow, of which subsequently we will see. I mean, sometimes even power outage. So, what did he do? And this is where we normally have to focus on. I scheduled a one-on-one to discuss our work styles and agreed to use Slack daily check-ins. Absolutely. Perfect. So now he has told you that number one, I'm proactive. Number two, I'm productive. Because this is what he did. And mind you, you've not even given too much context on whatever you are looking or seeking to achieve. So he answering this using the action he took. Then it means this person is someone that can work as a team player. Perfect on board. So the result was what? Our communication improved, which is very necessary for any organization to thrive. Our communication improved, and then we completed our project. He has given a timeline. So, as employers, our checklist has to be very, 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 very specific towards what we seek to achieve using this particular method. Because, okay, communication, then you take. On what base did you measure the communication? All right. I want to be as fast as possible. So, common hiring mistakes. Common hiring mistakes. Common hiring mistakes. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that it's remote, as well, I like using that word. I mean, the virtual is, but I like using the remote. Yeah. So the fact that it's remote or virtual does not really guarantee that there wouldn't be challenges. Of course, even human beings have challenges, or we have one or two fallbacks. So it's normal, but is not limited to what we are seeing here, but this is something that can easily cause um, an organization to find it difficult to transition into the virtual world or into the remote space, because it's actually as simple as it is, like I said. Very simple, that you can get either a job seeker or you, an employer, get your organization actively engaged in remote hiring and talent, that you are going to still see the productivity you are looking for. And it saves you a lot of time, a lot of cost as well. Number one, over reliance on resume dependency, or over reliance on resume. I mean, uh, most people think, yeah, resume is good. I was telling a job seeker yesterday, we are trying to connect the person to an organization. I was telling her that yes, it's good. Resume is very good. But hey, we don't have to rely so much on it, because it's writing. Some people are so good at written communication. What does resume seek to achieve? It's written communication. And then most of us also overlook the fact that this individual or these candidates we are bringing on board is a remote space, so something should be present. Some things just have to be present when it comes to tech. Like I showed in the previous slide, tech savvy. I mean, when you say tech savvy, it's very broad. So then you have to know that some things have to be present. I've had the liberty. I was hiring for a company. I'll go back to Philippines, and I realized the majority of the people that applied, some from Nigeria. You realize that most of them were not even having laptops. They were using their phones. So you as an employer, you should be ready for that. Are you gonna use that to measure maybe level of productivity, or in terms of shortlisting? It all depends on you, but you shouldn't overlook this. And a lot of people overlook this particular thing. All right. And even the specifications, laptop, you have to specify which one exactly you are looking for, because sometimes the mode of operation might need a higher processor. Poor documentation in terms of the checklist. You should be able to know that this particular candidate or these shortlisted individuals, you have their data properly filed. And I think that's where some of these roles like the VAs come in. The person doesn't have to be there. But you as an employer too, you should be able to, because you don't want to be interviewing someone and then you mention a person by another person's name. So you are looking at culture. The next one is the no culture fit evaluation. Yes, of course, sometimes I know it's quite tough to measure culture fit remotely, but let's look at it in this context. Okay, when we look at it in this context where, like I gave a previous example, you are looking for a sales personnel. So then the head of sales or marketing actually has to be on board and ensure that, okay, based on the engagement, this is what we do. Sometimes you can even have a video of your regular day's activity in the marketing space. You schedule a Zoom call, a meet, and then boom, just display it to successfully, ensure that this particular individual or this candidate that has been shortlisted or ideal for their job is culturally fit. We don't do that. And I'm saying these are real-time things. It's not difficult to implement. The last one I'll look at is the missed onboarding experience. Oh boy, a lot of people offer acceptance remote. Make sure it's done. Because you use ChatGPT, yes, but then get embedded, marks for the signature. Invest a bit, okay, so that when technicalities come, when legal issues rise up, the fact that it's remote does not mean there are no legalities. The global data protection is also there. Cyber security is also monitoring. So all of these things are in play. So the fact that it's virtual does not mean we shouldn't pay attention to that. So missed onboarding experience, that we see a lot. We see a lot. And I'm so glad you are all here, and I really know and hope you are taking notes. If you are here with me, write common mistakes, common mistakes, common mistakes, common mistakes. I want to be sure if you're on the same page. Common mistakes, common mistakes, common mistakes. Yeah, common mistakes. Great, great. All right. So let's move to the next one. Boy. So this for all of us. Yeah. This for all of us to discuss. All of us. Everybody has to be on board. So you had a virtual candidate who failed the expectation as an employer. What do you think went wrong? Or what do you think could go wrong? Everything I'm giving to you is real life scenario. So you had a virtual candidate. Or most of us assume because it was a virtual hire. I can see some people say, "Oh, I just got a remote job, but I got laid off." You see people getting remote jobs, and after 2 months, 3 months, they are laid off. What's the challenge? So I want to hear from you. Any suggestions there? He said no. Um, I see no practical, non-practical to show his skills. Okay, okay. I want to hear from another person at least. At least. Okay. So no skills to show. Great, 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 great. Another person. Another person. And let's move to the next one. I think we are a lot on the call, so I want to at least hear from more. Some treat remote jobs as side hustles instead of proper work. That's actually true. That's actually true. That's true. Very interesting. They treat it as side hustle instead of proper work. And as employers, I think we need to also look at that particular context where we are able to. That's when the onboarding comes in. So that in that side, you look at the onboarding aspect of it. So that's why we mentioned the challenges previously. If you miss the onboarding experience, if you are not properly, if you don't spend so much time to properly infuse them or transition them into the organization smoothly, they don't see it as something that they have to spend so much time on, especially when you indicate part-time. So you realize that most of these international companies, they barely use part-time. They'll tell you maybe you need to work 20 to 25 hours a week. And then you evaluate their culture. I think my other individual said something that I want to. He said, no practical to show. Yes, because most of us rely on resume too much. We are not saying resume is not important, but most of us rely on it too much. All right. I always say the recruiter and his tools is what makes him different. We are in a global, like I said, the world is now virtual. We moved from the rural urban. Before it was rural, we moved to urban, then rural urban. Now we are in the virtual space. And it's also another world that is actively running. So, my dear employers, my dear hiring managers, my dear HR managers, my dear professionals, please and please make sure you have your tools always in your bag or your pocket. Stock yourself with your tech tools. There's just a few, not limited to, like I said, but these are ones that have been trusted so far. Because I mean, based on majority of the employers and the global recruiters we've had, I've seen their consistency in these type of tools. So I would recommend, like I said, not limited to. So when it comes to sourcing, majority of us know LinkedIn Recruiter. So it's not something I would really spend so much time. We have the bullying too. Okay, that's if you want to go a bit free. But most of these are paid, and it's not bad to invest because if you are looking to hire the right candidate, I think it's best to invest so that you don't really do bad hires because it costs you. It costs the employer when you make a bad hire. It costs you. All right, then the screening, we have something like the Google form, but I normally recommend the Type form. The Type form. I know Google form is quite, it's cheap, localized, easy to use, but You can also try. You see, the reason why we are here is a training. You take time, you write them down, you go, you search on it, and then you try. What does it do? You get it? How can I use this to best? And you'll be surprised if you are not maybe a manager yet, and you are just perhaps an officer starting, and you begin to introduce these things into the organization. I tell you, there's room for you to quickly move up. And if you're already a manager or a consultant here, and then you are not abreast with this, I don't know how you run your coaching and recruitment services, but the world is fast evolving. Let's catch up. Interviewing. Like I said, not limited to, we have the likes of Meet, I mentioned Teams, but I normally recommend Zoom because of the fact that it normally works, or it works so easy with Otter AI. Oh boy, it works so easy. I mean, the transcription is so perfect. And it has note takers that after you are done with everything, it gives you a summary. It's so interesting, especially for reporting. So I normally recommend using these two together. And let's look at the assessment. We have the Test Gorilla. We have the Toggle Hire. Test Gorilla is something that most often you are using to measure their intelligence, their IQ. So you can also put some things in place. All of these are tools that are in existence that you can use. So you are not really doing anything. You can be there, you can source, you can screen, you can interview, you can assess, you can onboard, all with AI, and you just be there. So when we are dealing with how do I say, candidates, and we tell them that, you know what, the truth of the matter is the employer barely gets to see you. Most of us, even employers, some of us don't really understand because we are leveraging AI throughout. And the secret is out now. So yes, let's take it from there. So I told you I'll spend some time over here. Let's look at candidate experience. We've spoken of from the employer angle or perspective, but always remember life is in perspective. Okay, life is in perspective. So we've spoken from the perspective of the employer. Now let's look at that of the candidates as well, because they're also coming in. All right, we are all employers. I want to ask us a question. If you hear the name Deloitte, what comes to mind? Or maybe Deloitte. Let's use Microsoft. Because I don't know. Let's use Microsoft. What comes to mind? Just one person should share in the chat box. What comes to mind? Microsoft. 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 Oh, is it just Oyin that's here? Software. Great. Any other person? Okay. So the moment you hear a company's name, something comes to mind. And it's so subtle that is the selling point. And employers or HR professionals, I need you to take this, if not anything, take this aspect very serious. Because candidate experience speaks it all. See, they can actually damage, they can make and unmake you. Let's not think they are not important. Other people call it employer branding. Okay, employer branding. Just like the way people preach personal branding, people preach candidate positioning and all of that. As recruiters, majority of us position candidates for the job. But hey, what of the employers? They also need to be positioned, because when somebody hears this company and it has a bad reputation, no one will want to work there. I recently heard of someone was sharing with me a testimony of a company in Nigeria. I think it's not that big there yet, and I just don't want to mention it. And she said her cousin was working there, and apparently the owner was, I think, a fraudster or involved in something like a scheme. And they came to pick almost everyone. In fact, they picked everyone up. I'm like, okay, so if truly it's not even true, okay, and people hear about this, the company, anyone that hears the name will have that tag in mind. So then what do? We have to set expectations right from the start, right from the job description. Like I said, be concise, hit the nail on the head, no room for ambiguity. Also, after engaging with the candidate, especially with the interview, whether the initial interview through to the second, through to the final or the assessment, remember, personalized messages. Don't say, dear candidate, okay? Because you are using automated, you have the MailChimp, you can automate it and just put in their names. Okay, you have so many automation that you can actually just put in their names and or hi plus candidate name, then it will just do for you. So depending on the candidate you want to send, depending on the mail you are using, it will just automate it and then it will be running it then for you. So personalized messages, let them feel like, oh, okay, you remember me after all. Even though I didn't make it, at least you remember me. And these people are very credible because credibility is very important. That's what brings the profitability. All right. And then also provide timely feedback. Let your 3 days be 3 days. After first interview or your initial interview, if you have a time frame, let it be consistent because candidates are also connected. They have friends who have also tried to apply. You told this one 2 days, you hear from me. You told this one 4 days, you hear from me. So I had a chance to do a white label for a coaching service or consulting firm in the United States. And one thing I liked about them was their prompt response, especially to their candidates. Oh boy, 2 days was 2 days. 2 days was 2 days. Everybody received it, and they will ensure that they tell you that as promised, as we indicated earlier. It makes the candidate feel like, yeah. So even if they receive, we are sorry for this. It shouldn't always be we are sorry. We can find a different way around it. And then show the company culture virtually. Let us know that people you are a team, you are one, you're a place of love. Okay, the CEO, you can actually have a CEO, maybe greeting video, just a short video to greet all new hires. You get it? It creates a particular type of picture. He doesn't need to be there, but it can just be played after the final interview is done. You've concluded everything in the onboarding process that you've done. Maybe in the second phase of the what's the name, the final interview, you can just bring in this. So I want to show you can bring in a moment where you're all having lunch together. You get it? I mean, let's just create that experience for them. When you create the experience, it stays with them. Even if you don't get a job, they still trust you. And then give candidates a timeline. Like I said, your 3 days should be your 3 days. Don't tell them you're here for us soon. Soon is too big. Limited. Latest by 1st May. If you don't hear from us, then limited. Give us specific timeline. Okay. If you are here with me, write timeline. I want to know you guys are following. Timeline, 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 timeline. Waiting, timeline, 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 timeline. All right, all right, all right, all right. Great, great, great. I hope you are learning something. Yeah. So I'll give you what I term the 5P virtual hiring framework. That's what I use over the years where I've been able to engage with some of these global professionals and recruiters and hiring managers and consultants across different sectors. I've been able to come to this understanding of 5Ps as an employer. Okay. Number one, prepare. Just make sure that the JD, from the evaluation to the analysis to the payroll, whatever it is, define who you are looking for right from the onset. You are planning to get a sales rep or you are planning to get a software engineer in maybe September. Latest by June ending, I've already started preparing for the ideal fit. So I have my job description. I know what I'm actually looking for, what is lacking. I put everything down. Then you let the AI tweak it. So you do the typing or you do the prompting, and then they will tweak it or refine it for you to come out presentable and more professional. And then your tools. I've already mentioned AI. Also, post, post, post. Share it. I think that one most of us do well with it. I see people posting their, we are hiring, we are hiring. It's getting too archaic. Change it. Okay, you can write a compelling change it. Let the JD be, like we saw the previous one that was so generic, and compare it to you personalizing it and then sharing it. You are looking for so the candidate now looks at himself and say, I can do this. Why? Because yesterday I was able to engage with this person. I was able to close this deal, or I had this number of retention. So then I'm the best associate they are looking for, even based on what they are saying. Not every day we are hiring. We are looking for, oh boy, let's change it. Okay. And then pre-screen. Let's use smart filters. Okay. Let's be able to have some of these AI tools, like I mentioned, the Otter AI. Let's use some of these things to do the transcribing and note taking for all of us, the assessments and all of that. Let's be able to leverage these tools that are there to help us. Everyone, every employer, every company can transition smoothly into the virtual space, and it's possible without any form of stress. Okay, use your test gorillas, use them. Then you also perform. Make sure you are doing it. Conduct structured video interviews. Like, make sure it's structured. No, this one is asking question. Maybe the sales or the marketing. I don't know why. I think because I recently closed the sales. So maybe the individual in context, one manager is saying, can I please come in? Can I please be no? Make sure you are all using a particular checklist you seek to achieve. It's a measure. It's a measure. Make it be structured. Know what you are looking to measure. Communication skills. Know the type of question you will ask, so that when you see the answers, especially on the action and the result, what did they do? That's using the STAR method. Then you can tell from their behavior that yes, these people actually have good communication skills. So conduct very structured video interviews. Present your offer. Okay, make sure that if everything is finalized, you like the person, present your offer. Hey, I'm making you this offer. These are the terms. This is what I'm giving to you. Traditionally, we normally do that, but you realize that even eventually, the Labor Act has to come in, because human beings are like that. They are stubborn. Yeah, they can be very stubborn sometimes. And then on board with an experience, make sure you leave a lasting impact for them. Like I mentioned earlier, you can actually have time with the CEO, or welcome with the CEO. Then they have what's the name? A mini party or a Zoom party. You are there as the hiring manager. Some of the teams you'll be working with, or all departmental teams that are he's supposed to work with, are also there in the meeting. Then they officially welcome him after maybe the CEO's video has been played. Then they officially welcome him. It's an experience. So this runs for 5P that I've actually done. Prepare, post, pre-screen, perform, and present. We're wrapping up. So we have some assignments for every single one. If you are here, perhaps it's a lot, so you can just take a picture, and then it's for you to take home. It's a take-home assignment, real life, to help you, better enhance and improve your employer branding, and then experience as an organization in general. So you are looking at how you audit your current virtual hiring process. If you have one. If you don't, then I think there's also a parameter for you to be able to, what you've learned so far, it's time to apply. So does your current job description clearly specify remote expectations, tools, and skills? The ball is in your court to answer. Do you use any AI tools and templates to enhance your JDs? Or you just say, write, and then do it? Or just go to AI, prompt it, whatever comes in, you just put in this. No, the ball is also in your court. Okay? Are candidates pre-screened before live interviews using some of these tools like Google Forms, and the Toggle, HighView? Do you use them? How do you ensure fairness and structure during interviews? Like I mentioned, structure, fairness, not because you are biased. It's you are looking to close maybe a production manager, and as a result of that, everyone on board is manufacturing. No, I mean, no. How do you do that to ensure fairness? What tools do you use for testing and assessment as well? I really know a lot of people don't have that, this particular one, but that's why we are here. How is onboarding also handled virtually for you? That is if you have remote. And I encourage everyone to think of going remote because that's the new age. It doesn't mean they should entirely work from home. You can run the hybrid. You can start with a hybrid, okay, and then embed it into your organizational culture and to really save you a lot of cost, a lot of time. Redesign one job post using AI tools. Record and share a mock star interview. You can share it to me personally. Like I said, it's a bonus. You can submit it for me for private feedback, and I'll give you a free 15 minutes coaching audit on the structures and your organizational operations. So send to me personally or privately, and then we can take it from there. Yeah, so I also added a special offer to every single one of you here. It's just exclusive for everyone. So I've slashed 70% off for a one-on-one session with all individuals here who like to have moments with me where you can actually look for a clarity or a better recruitment strategy for your organization to audit the parameters in context. And then my coaching link, maybe after the call, I'll just drop it in the chat, and then you can take it from there and book. It's just available for the first 10 people. I've sliced almost everything off. So thank you so much for your time. All too soon. Thank you so much for participating and giving me your audience. I'm so grateful. I'm open for any questions, feedback, and then we can take it from there. Thank you so much once again. Over to
So
Mr.
much. Thank you so much.
Okay, you can go ahead, sir. Hello.
Thank you so much. It's been an impactful and insightful moment. I just want us to know if what do we have to say? Do we have questions concerning this topic so that we can move ahead, please?
Speak up, speak up, speak up. You can just type in the chat box if perhaps your background is quite noisy. You just type in the chat box and let's see how we can all learn, pick value from here. In fact, as I await the questions, you can just add. Oh wow, thank you all so much. I'm just seeing it. You can just add value if you're taking if you feel this was valuable. I want you to type value. I want to see. I want to ensure it was properly delivered and it was communicated in the most professional manner. Value, 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 value. I'm still awaiting questions. Then take it from there. Boy. Hey, I'm waiting for you. No questions, no feedback. Okay, I'll give Madam Agape the chance. I want to hear from you. Typing. Let me see.
Okay. So I just want to ask my own question. It's actually been an insightful moment. So what's the strategy that can be put in place to close up roles very fast? And what do you do in case you are looking for a role and those roles are not, you like you said, we should not depend on CV, and you find out CVs are not aligning, and you've put in place every measure like head hunting. How can you be so successful in getting a culture fit candidate for a particular role?
All right. Thank you so much. Very, very constructive question. First of all, we use something called the hidden job market. Okay. Use the hidden job market. So when you headhunt and you are not getting it, now begin to reach out to number one, fellow recruiters, or use the LinkedIn or the recruiter, that's if you're using LinkedIn or whichever job board you are using, use the hidden job market of directly poaching the individuals. Alternatively, you can also look at it from this context of look at the company we are dealing with first. First of all, if it's very difficult to get a particular role to be filled, most often check the job description. It's either too vague or it's too technical, and you don't get anybody because people grow. People grow in the organization. Okay, and in as much as you are looking at quality, you should also give room for growth. So if I know I'm looking for someone with a 10-year experience as a technical director for a generator company, I'm using a real life example. So a generator company in US has actually, we are dealing with something right now, and they are looking for a technical director. Okay, headhunting might be a bit tough, but use the hidden job market. So then we start sourcing from the ship or the marines, the experts in the marines. So that's the market we are using. So you barely see a post on that. You don't have to make a post on that. Of course, you can post, but you're not posting really expecting people, but you are reaching out to people directly using the hidden job market, and that's the direct, what people call cold mail. It doesn't really work like that, but reach out with a purpose. Don't send a job description. Hi, it's great connecting with you. My name is so and so, and I think I want to make you an offer. Open to any role. It's a hidden job market, and definitely, once the conditions are set and ideal, I can assure you, you're going to close that role really quick. We did that in about 2 or 3 days. Yeah, 2 days. And also have a team. Have a team. I know majority of us are recruitment strategists and consultants. Great, but have a team. Have a large team. So have a team, because you are just one man. You get it, and you can have a talent pool. A current project we are trying to run, they are looking for about 4,000 to 5,000 active, you know, other than job seekers. And as one individual, how can you handle that? So have a team, use a hidden job market, and I believe you should be fine on that. So that's one strategy or two strategies I'll give you. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question.
Answers. We have a question. Um, how do an HR newbie structure a virtual hiring process from job analysis to or posting to offer acceptance? You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry. I hope it's better. I'm very sorry. So how do an HR
Okay.
newbie structure a virtual hiring process from job analysis, posting to offer and acceptance? I think I gave you in the slides. So first of all, use the virtual hiring workflow. Okay, use the workflow, and if you really were on this call, you realize that right from sourcing and job analysis, don't use the traditional way. Okay, first off, just go to your AI, give it a command that this is the role you are seeking to what achieve, comparing it to your industry, and also compare it to the niche. Okay, so you look at the industry, you look at the niche, you look at the jurisdiction. If you are looking at Africa. So you are looking to close it for perhaps an African, maybe country, let's say Senegal. Yeah, you get it. Then from there it moves. So I think it's something that you have to consider. So first off, just use the regular sourcing that I gave, the workflow that you use right from the analysis. But in the analysis, make sure you are very constructive with your prompts. First of all, you should know the title and it should be definite. Don't say customer experience executive or perhaps um, um, maybe a marine freight or maybe a freight forwarder. It's too vague. Limit it, okay? Customer service associate, you are looking for an officer, you are looking for a manager, you are looking for a consultant. I mean, the position is very key. Then you analyze it compared to the location or the jurisdiction, then even the industry. That you can have your analysis sorted out. Based on that, the next question was uh, posting to, of course, posting. We have a lot of job boards, so I don't really need to even reiterate that. We have the LinkedIn, we have a lot of job boards that you can use. So, and to offer an acceptance. Yeah. So go through the sourcing process. You go through your interviewing, use the STAR method. You're able to. In fact, this whole session was about this question. The entire training is about this question. So you go through the sourcing through to the assessment, and then when the offer can, when you feel like this person is shortlisted, the team or the managers in context to work with this individual or the heads in context, if the person is reporting directly to the CEO, then actually you have to know that then the CEO has to be in play, especially on the final interview. When everything is good, make the offer, tell the person the amount involved, send your copy via whatever, either by mail, whatever it is. You have your copy, and then I think you should be very sorted. Successfully onboarding whatever, like I said, manager or CEO. Make sure you meet him either through a pre-recorded video or in person. Be engaged, everything likes. Then you take them through the entire company culture by ensuring that the necessary heads are in a particular meeting. You introduce him or her, and then boom, you can start work. Give the person the start date in the offer letter. As simple as that.
All right. I don't know if there are any more questions.
Any question, and feedback. If there are no question, feedback. I'm saying thank you, Randy. Thank you. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
All right. So a question just came in. It said, "How do an HR newbie conduct a job analysis about a particular job role in real-time scenario? Real-time scenario, virtual scenario. Is there a tool? Is there a tool?"
I'm honestly trying so hard to get a question, but I'll try to pick it from this direction. So I think she's talking about how does HR newbie conduct a job analysis about a particular job role in real time scenario. It will actually depend on the type of job, because job analysis for every job. Okay, and don't forget you have to compare with an existing company or role that is already running. So if you are looking to close for a particular bank, for instance, let's say I'm seeking to close for EcoBank, and maybe I'm looking for their which role should I even use? Maybe their director, maybe head of operations. Okay, and you are looking to close head of operation. You want to do conduct a job analysis on this particular role. Then you have to first of all pick the head of operations in so and so. So you are looking to close head of operations in Stanbic Bank. So after you've gotten the head of operations in Stanbic Bank, then you go and search average or real time, what's the name, value of so and so, maybe head of operations in EcoBank or Stanbic Bank. Let me use Stanbic Bank. When you get that value, then you now do your comparison based on the job duties in context. So you look at the role that that particular head of operation is playing in. What's the name? Um, Stanbic Bank here, then you compare it to the Echo Bank. So you just tell ChatGPT or whoever it is to do the comparison for you, and then that's it. You don't need to be the one to do the analysis, as it were. Most of the AIs are now they've integrated the analysis into it. So I think DeepSeek, and then Copilot are also very good for these particular ones, especially with the analysis. Yeah, but ChatGPT does more like general. It's also very embedded if you prompt it very well. You get high value for that particular command from AI. Yeah. So I hope I've answered the question. I hope you got me. Yeah. I know you did. I know you did. All right.
Okay. So any more questions? Any more questions, please? All right, please. If you have not been able to put your name and your email on the group, we encourage you to put your email. You put your name as well. It's been a wonderful session. It's been so impactful. We keep learning every day. I must tell you that at least you are not exactly the way you were before you came in. You have added to your knowledge in a bit. So I must say a very big thank you to Randy. And before that, we'll have the floor for our founder in the person of Agape Asanga to give us a word concerning this.
Hello everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, thank you Randy. Thank you so much for today's session. It was enlightening. I mean, we learn every day, so there are certain things you have mentioned that for many of us or for most of us who joined, we've been skipping in our virtual hiring process. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for investing in HR and the community. We really appreciate you. And thank you to Melville, our moderator. Thank you for taking the time to moderate today's session. You did a good job. And to everybody who joined, thank you so much. Like Melvin mentioned, can anyone hear me? Am I being heard?
Go ahead, man. We can hear you.
Yeah. I hear you.
Okay, so please, if you've not dropped your email and your phone number, please, or your name, please do so that we can get the content, today's content across to you. And for the assignments, these assignments are not just being given so that the trainers are going to fulfill all righteousness. They are being sent out so that on your own you can start practicing and putting these things into practice, right? It's going to expose you a whole lot. Exposure is what is the game. So please,
Wow.
thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you too. And one thing I'd like to add is the fact that you are HR newbies, never think that's your level. Okay, always look outside the box. Look outside the box, because there's room in the virtual space, and the sky is just the starting point. So keep soaring, every one of you. God bless you more.
Thank you.
All right, so everyone, we'll call it a day. We encourage you to fill the review form that will be sent very shortly. Fill the review, help us to know where we can improve, areas of improvement, what we can do better in our training. Thank you so much, and good night, everyone.